Purdue versus Michigan. That's what we got going on tomorrow night. I believe it's at 8:30, 8, something like that. Tough matchup for the Boilers. It's going to be an interesting game to watch. Not going to be an easy fight by any means. You look at this Michigan team, not Michigan State. This Michigan team, they are 24-1. Right now, they have ran past pretty well everybody. They are a very deep team. They run a 9-man roster of just everybody. They got 9 guys, 9 of them, and all of them pretty much play around the same amount of time. 9 guys that 20 minutes per night, pretty much from everybody in the rotation. You've got one guy that plays under 15 minutes. Every other person that is in the rotation, all other 8 players, are in for 19 or more minutes, right? Obviously, they have Axel Lindenborg. That is their star. But I don't even know if you can say that. I mean, he's their leading scorer, but this team is so deep. Lindenborg, Merez Johnson, Ademara, you got 3 bigs right there. Lindenborg plays the 3, but if I'm not mistaken, he's 6'9" or 6'10". Let me see. Yeah, 6'9", 240. Like, he can play the 4. They run him at the 3 because they run 3 bigs, but he can, by all means, play the 4. Great player. 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.4 blocks per game. The only thing he really lacks on is outside shooting, and to an extent, he can knock those down as well, depending on the night. I think this is a game similar to Nebraska on matchup-wise. We win this game by execution and effort. It does look a little bit different. I think, Merez Johnson and Ademara I think they're better than the bigs from Nebraska. Mast. I don't know. It's going to be a tough matchup, guys. Very tough matchup. They defensively, Michigan throws a lot of things at teams. It's not one type defense, and that's what you get. They throw a lot of things out there. They'll run zone. Lindenborg will press, 1-man press. A half court zone press like thing. They mix it up. Dusty May does a really good job with these guys, and I think it's part of it's being with how deep his roster is. He's got a lot of guys that he can go in, put in there and trust. That's why they run a 9-man roster, right? Just a lot. I think it's going to be a tough matchup because of matchup wise. They've got size. They got guys at pretty well positions. They've got Lindenborg, Merez Johnson, Ademara. That's 3 bigs right there, and they run them in their starting lineup. Now, I think there is a possibility. We did play, Mara was on UCLA last year. I was actually at that game. He got benched because he could not stop us, right? Braden had a really good game that game, and Braden, got him benched. He could not, defensively stop him. Similar to the way Nebraska guards, Michigan is a team that will make you shoot threes, right? With their size inside, they really take away that inside. So they force you to shoot threes. And again, the Nebraska game, we got a lot of threes up, and in the beginning of the game, they were going down. I think similar to this situation, it's good to see Jakari and CJ shoot well previous game in hopes that transfers over, because our bench pieces, our supporting cast, if you will, to Braden and Fletch and TKR, the guys around them have to make shots, right? Braden can't single-handedly beat this team, because I think he is going to get a lot of action with that mid-range pull-up. They do run drop coverage when a day is in, when Morrow's in. I'm just going to refer to him as Morrow. When Morrow is in, they do run a lot of drop. And I think that opens a lot for Braden, and Braden's got to get to that spot and be comfortable, be confident, and knock it down. But again, when we get wide open threes, or when Braden gets somebody open behind the arc, those guys got to be ready to knock it down. As a team, we did not shoot well against Nebraska. That can't happen against Michigan. That can't happen in this situation. They're going to give you those shots. You have got to be able to knock them down. And also with that, I went to the Illinois game this year. I believe I was at the Oakland game as well, and I think there might have been one more. But Mackey just is not feeling the same, right? In the past few years, it's been so hard to play in Mackey. Mackey's the place to play. Mackey's rocking. And believe me, it's still rocking. But it has not felt like we have been behind. Not me. I have been. It does not feel like our team or our fans have been behind this team the way that we have been in the past. I think, honestly, we play a part in how this game goes, right? Don't know if you've been up to date on anything. Yaxel Lendenborg, there's a video resurfacing on him, saying F Purdue, we're going to beat their, put belt to butt, and go out there and just tear them apart. Now, I do believe that was actually recorded in May, so it was right when Yaxel signed to Michigan. It's not something that happened currently. But, as a fan base, we have to take that personally, and get rowdy, get loud, get behind our team, make it as hard as Michigan to play, simply on our atmosphere. Obviously, the team's got to show up. We got to go out there and score, right? They got to do their jobs. But it's on us to rally behind them as well and make it so much more difficult for Michigan to go out there and play. Similar, because I was at the Michigan game last year, played at Mackey. We whooped them, right? Danny Wolf, they had Golden also, right? We whooped them. We beat them by 30. It was not even close. It was never a contest. We went out there, was the stronger team, went out there and played with more effort, went out and punched them in the mouth. And I know I use that reference a lot, but we have to do that, right? We have got to go out there with energy, with effort, and show that we're the tougher team. And that's hard. It's definitely that is so hard against a team like this, because they've got 9 guys that go out in there and they essentially act like they're the villains, right? They don't care what you think. Yaxel has called out different teams multiple times this year, or players on the teams. He doesn't care. They've embraced that role. Last year, Dusty May came out and sat in Mackey before the game started for an hour. He was taking a picture with some Michigan fans. As a team, they embrace that villain role. And we've got to... I just want so bad to watch us... put them in their place, and it's not going to be something that happens easily. It's going to be a hard-fought contest, but I do think it's something we can do. I think it is doable, but we have to play. It can't just be effort. We won the game against Nebraska based off effort. We're not going to win the game based on effort this time. We have to have that effort, and we have to have execution, and it has to happen at the same time. And, I think it's doable. I think it's doable, but the supporting cast for our team has got to come up and have a good game. Like I said, they run three bigs, so I think it's going to be, you know, one of those games where Clough and TKR offensively, and Jacobson as well, offensively, they might not get involved that much. But when an opportunity arises, we have to capitalize on that. So when an opportunity is bad rotation or something, swing it in there. They've got to execute. They've got to get there. They're also a team that doesn't foul much, right? We're not a team that really gets to the line that much, but when we get fouled, one, we have to execute. We have got to make our free throws, but as well, get some of these guys in foul trouble. Getting Yaxel in foul trouble will be a difference. Getting Mara in foul trouble makes a difference. Mara averages 2.8 blocks per game. He's 7'3". He's a big guy, right? Compared to last year, he is a different player, partly because of, I think, the system that he's in. The UCLA system just was not for him. But we can play him off the floor. I mean, Braden did it last year. It can happen again, right? But it honestly just comes down to execution. Yeah, I mean, what do I have here? We have got to, so we are a very slow-paced team. We are ranked like top 5 in pace and possessions per game. Last game? Last game was our second slowest game of the year, I believe, with 58 possessions. We've got to limit possessions against a team like Michigan. They are a good defensive rebound, or they are better offensive rebounding than we are. We are better defensive rebounding than they are, but it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna come down to execution, and I think we also kind of have to force them to shoot. Right? If you look at their statistics, they do have a few guys that shoot well. I guess they've got like where is he at? Elliot Cadeau. I know when we played him the second time, he lit it up against us. He shoots 39.4%. As long with Trey McKinney, he's shooting 36. But you got like Mara, they're big. He's not one of the stretch fives. He's not going to be attempting shots out there. He's 2 for 7 on the year. And then Morez Johnson, he will take those. No, he won't. Sorry. He will not shoot those like Mara, similar to Mara. He's 5 for 14. So, he actually will shoot them, and I think that's how we win defensively with Yaxel, because he's a freak athlete, right? He's 6'9", he's quick, he's the best athlete on the floor at all times. But he will attempt them, but he shoots it at 29.8%, right? Forcing him into jump shots is how we win defensively on that matchup on him. If I'm looking at a matchup standpoint, I don't think we put CJ on him, and that might come to a surprise. Honestly, I think you put CJ on Elliot Cadeau, who is their point guard. He averages 5.5 assists per game to 2.4 turnovers. But if you look at this, he is prone to turning it over at times. Get this game on pulled up. He has had multiple games where, like Nebraska, 8 turnovers. He had 7 assists, but he had 8 turnovers, right? Northwestern, 5 turnovers. He is prone to have these big turnover games. 6 turnovers against TCU, 5 turnovers against Wake Forest. He is very... You can get into him and force him to turn the ball over. He is a very quick, twitchy player, so it is going to... I think this is what you do is you put CJ on him, and you force him to turn the ball over, and force him to make reads. And he's a good point guard. Don't get me wrong. He is a good point guard. But I think CJ can take that matchup, because if you put Braden on him, you're going to wear him out. And offensively, this is a game where we need Braden to control the game, need him to get to his spots. make shots, but as well as get shooters open. But yeah, you've got to limit, or you got to force some turnovers. And it starts with Cadeau, and I think CJ is capable of that matchup. Like I said previously, he is in the race to be Defensive Player of the Year. This is a big stage to go out and prove that on, and I think he can do it. As a team, 19.4 assists because Mara is also a good passer. He's a really good passer out of the post. The actual is not bad as well with 3.1 rebounds, assists. So they all are capable, right? The only guy that he really looks at that doesn't really looking to pass the ball much is McKinney, and I mean he is a guard, but still, they're a very solid team. They average 6.1 blocks too, so another reason why I don't think our inside play is can be that effective. But they do have these minutes. I previously said that they mix up their defense, right? They do have these minutes where they mix it up when they have on the stretch of changing their defense, because there are times when they change it up that it's not working, but they don't switch it right away. When they do, mess around with their defensive changes, because they do it every game, we have got to capitalize. If it's a defense that you get more inside touches, we've got to feed the post. We got to give it to TKR. Got to give it to Clough. Let them score. When it forces Braden to shoot middies, he's got to get to his spot. He's got to knock him down. As long as CJ too and Fletch, all three of those guys, very capable pull-up shooters, right? If that, you have to take what they give you. Sorry, I keep stuttering. They have got to take what the defense gives you. This can't be a game where you're picky about your shots. It's got to be, what's open, right? If Braden gets 5 mid-range shots in a row, and they're open shots, and that's what the defense is giving you because Mara's in drop or something like that, you've got to do that. When Mara comes off the floor, I think we can win that matchup if they put Lindenborg at the 4 and Morris Johnson at the 5. I think you do win that matchup. I think Clough and TKR, I think TKR could get Lindenborg into foul trouble when they take him off. I think there's a chance that at times that we go small with Clough or TKR at the 5 and get our shooters on the floor and be versatile that way. At times when Mara's in the game, because you can run him off the floor, make him get benched. Mara's a game changer, right? There are times where he gets unplayable defensively. He has turned the ball over some this year as well. He does average 2 turnovers per game as a big, so that's kind of a lot. But it's one of those games where, you force him off the court, that changes the game, right? Defensively, he's a big guy. He's definitely put on some pounds compared to last year. Last year was more of a skinny big. He's definitely bulked up just a little bit, but he's 7'3", and he knows how to block shots. So our inside play is going to be very limited. We have got to maximize on our perimeter shooting, and we should be very capable of that. I mean, you look at our team, and we've got Braden shoots 41% from 3 right now. Fletcher is getting his way back up there after his stretch of rough shooting, back to 38%. We got CJ shoots at 35. Daniel starts shooting at 37, but that's a very small portion size. I believe he's 3 for 8. Omar shooting at 35. Jakari's starting to get back up there as well. He's shooting at 34. And then Benter's 44. Right? We've got guys that can knock down shots. First of all, they can't hesitate when it's swung to them. When Jack gets a ball swung to him, the shot's got to go up, right? I want it to be maybe later in the shot clock. I thought a few times against Nebraska, we got the shot we expect to get, which is an open 3. But I thought there's too many times where it's just kind of very quick in the shot clock, and we could have got some more reversals because this is a game where we've got to win the possession battle. I'm not going to bet against Trey right now, the way he's been rebounding the last few games. He's got to go in there and continue to rebound that way because I think he knows, this game, as a scorer, he's not going to be. It might look a lot like Nebraska on his attempts, right? He had 5 attempts in the Nebraska game. That's very likely to happen against this team as well, depending on who they throw at you. And the way that they run their roster because they mix it up a lot. The starting 5 is typically all the same. But throughout the game, like I said, every single guy plays over 20 minutes besides one person out of a 9-man rotation. So there's a lot they can throw at you. Or defensively for us, we can't get lost. They're not a cutting team compared to Nebraska. I mean, they still cut, but not to the extent of Nebraska. That is something Nebraska is really good about. But they can score the ball. I mean, they've got 3 bigs, and all 3 of them, Yaxel 14, Moraz 13, Mara 11, right? All 3 of them can score, and they all rebound. All of them average 7 rebounds per game. Yaxel with closer to 8 with 7.7. But, right, so not only will our inside play get taken away more than likely, our rebounding has got to come and be efficient the way it has been the last few games. Clough has to rebound again. Last game, I think he had 5. It was either 5 or 6. It was down compared to, obviously, 14 against Nebraska is crazy, but he's got to come in there. Him and Trey both have got to go in there with that same mindset that they came in with of see ball, get ball. Don't foul. Don't go over top of somebody and get a foul call, but they've got to have that same mentality of go get the ball. We've got to limit their rebounds, but that also comes into play of the supporting cast as well. We've got to crash the boards. We have got to get rebounds. But it does change a little bit because defensively or offensively, if we miss a shot, somebody's got to get back. When Mara's in the game, he does a very good job of getting a rebound, turning and looking, and quarterback passing the ball down the floor. And he's very effective at it. His success rate on that is very high. So somebody's got to get back, and others got to crash the floor, or the glass. I mean, but yeah, I think defensively as well, we force them to shoot. Like I said, they've got some capable shooters, but they are heavy on their inside play, mid-range shooting, stuff like that. Force Cadeau to take some off the dribble shots. He can get hot, but I think you take that chance of take away their inside as well, similar to what they're likely to do, and force them to make shots, which can get nerve-wracking a little bit sometimes in the season where we have seen that. And then, you look at Illinois and Wagler went in there and torched us. But yeah, I think you have to go out there and out execute. We've got to go out there and put a body on somebody, play physical, and they're likely to press as well, which kind of makes me nervous because there are times when our press breaker I don't think looks awesome at times. But I'm going to trust Braden and the team to get it done. I think this game comes down to, like I said, execution, but as also on the, you look at these coaches and it's a set of a great coaching matchup. PJ and Paint are one of the best duo for offensive schematics, and then Dusty May has also been, obviously 24-1, has been a great coach this year. And credit to last year as well. They were a good team last year as well, so you got to give them credit there. But, I think this is going to come down to coaching as well. Obviously, players have got to execute and make shots, stuff like that. But I think it also comes down to, on the fly. How do I say that? On the fly rotations and adjustments to what they throw at you, because when they throw different defenses at us, we're pretty typical to stick to our game plan. We've got to execute on that. So when they throw a zone at you, get it inside. When they throw, the take Maras out, gotta execute of getting the ball inside. When they're in that zone, hit those open shots that they give you. And again, we saw Jakari have a great game. Him and CJ both have a great game against Iowa. We need that shooting to translate into this game as well. I think also we need Fletch to have a good game. Fletch has got to come out and ready to shoot it. It's a game where Braden's got to execute and just take open shots, and he's got to be aggressive shooting the basketball and force them up, and then it allows for, some of those dish off passes off the roll and stuff like that. But it's a game where our supporting cast is, and Benner's got to get going. Jakari and CJ's got to stay hot. Like to see Omer get going as well. Do what we can, of taking advantage of those open looks that they're going to give us. We got to knock down shots and just come out strong, right? We have these moments where we come out strong and then start the second half slow, or we start slow and then get going and then second half's better. It's got to be consistent all game. It's got to go. We got to slow the game down, but we have got to play same effort the whole game, right? We have got to go out there being the team that's playing harder and executing to win this game. It's by far their hardest matchup. I previously had said Nebraska was the hardest matchup because it was at Pinnacle Bank, but now that game's over, this is our hardest matchup on the rest of the year, right? It's clear to see, and execution is what's going to affect this game, and I'm excited to watch it. I'm nervous to watch it, but I hope good things come out. And if we win this game, which I'm confident in us, so when we win this game, right, turning point for the season, it's going to prove who this team is. They're still scary. We were ranked number 1 for a reason at the beginning of the season. We're going to get back to that point. And also with that, I think I previously said that we just got to execute and, whatever they throw at us. I think our ball screen action has got to get going as well. I don't think, any of their bigs, maybe Yaxel, can stop Braden, right? Stop him off the drive. They're going to help, and then it can be a dish, or it can be a get to the basket, get fouled. If you watch Sleepers Media, he said something about how, when they matched up against Michigan State and teams like that, they were okay with their bigs matching up against Jeremy Fears or players like that, or to that caliber. And Jeremy Fears is a good player, but they can't handle Braden. Braden has got to have one of those great games of knowing when to score, and when it's not time to score, get others open. And I don't think they can stop him from doing both. It's definitely going to be a tough matchup, but we watched them play 3 times last year. Yeah, we were 1-2 in the matchup, but they do have a lineup where 3 of these guys have guarded Braden before. Elliot Cadeau guarded him, and Mackey, and so did Numari Burnett. Braden cooked that game. Had a great game. I think he had a great game. Let me see if I can pull that up. Pretty sure he had a good game, passing wise. Yeah, I think this is one of those games where Braden just goes in and executes and has a good game. And again, the supporting cast has to do a good job around them. Michigan is a team that gets to the line quite a bit. They're second in the conference for free throws attempted. So we have got to stay out of foul trouble as well when Clough and TKR is in. We got to stay out of foul trouble because we don't really have anyone to put on their bigs when they're out. And I think it'll be tough to play Daniel. I'm not sure that he's ready to um, take on those bigs. Maybe Mara the most, just to have size on size and make Mara, play. But this is a game where we have got to hit shots and just execute. And I keep saying it, but it comes down to execution. That's a lot of what this game is. And I think we're very capable of it. It's a game that we can go out and get, and they're gonna show who they are. They're going to come back and prove the culture of Purdue is effective, and they're just gonna go out there and give it their best. And I'm confident we're gonna see that from this team, and I love that. I love this team. I've said it time after time, and yeah, I'm confident they're gonna get it figured out. This is our biggest, you know, matchup yet. This is our biggest test. So we're gonna see how they come out, but I'm confident they're gonna come out and give it to them, and give them a run for their money. So stay tuned. Be ready for the recap. I'm hoping that it goes in our favor, but I was wrong. I believe the game's at 6:30, so I led this video off with a lie. So sorry to misinform you guys, but yeah, tune into the game and be ready for the Boilers to come out and give them a good game.